I wanted to address something that I was absolutely shocked when I saw over the weekend. We hear the term age-appropriate. And when it comes to our children, that's necessarily something that parents should be concerned about, because our parents, all of us that are parents, want our children to be able to take advantage of the internet's vast resources, to learn, to stay connected. But we as parents don't want our children, especially small children, to encounter inappropriate content. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of violence, profanity, sexualized material on the internet, and kids can too often access this material with the click of a mouse. We've all been dealing with that. That's nothing unusual. And what are we parents to do? We can monitor our kids' activities, but we can also depend on parental controls and filters in the marketplace. And we've seen the development of many of these services for kids that promise a safe space for children. The problem is when companies don't completely deliver on that promise. And so I've read recent news reports, and I watched Google's YouTube Kids mobile application for smartphones, and I see that it contains material that is not, in fact, appropriate for small children. According to the press accounts and what I saw repeated, the app has apparently been found to include videos with explicit language, mature subject matters such as child abuse, drug use, pedophilia, demonstrations of unsafe behaviors, and get this, advertisements for alcohol. I want to show you, Madam President. Okay, this is on the Google YouTube's app. Here is a lady hawking red wine. This is an advertisement for little kids. It's there. And I hope that the offending parties are indeed will take heed to my remarks. We all recognize this. Most appropriate for advertisements for the Super Bowl, but on a Google YouTube app for little children, preceded by the Clydesdales pulling the wagon with the Dalmatian, an icon in America, but for little children, an ad, the king of beers. And how about unsafe behaviors? Here's someone striking a match and taking this match down to a pile of unlit matches. And then, of course, you know what happens. It all goes up in flame. Now, have we lost our common sense? When Google rolled out its YouTube Kids app, it said, quote, "The app makes it safer and easier for children to find videos on topics that they want to explore." End of quote. That's a good thing. It went on to say, quote, "Now parents can rest a little easier knowing that videos in the YouTube Kids app are narrowed down to content appropriate for kids." End of quote. Well, I certainly agree with Google on that statement. Parents should be able to trust these online venues for children, especially when they're designed and marketed as being safe. But is this safe for children? And Madam President, is that safe for children? I don't think so. If a company creates an online safe haven for kids, it must do everything it can to make sure that children aren't unnecessarily exposed to the very content that parents want their children to avoid. Google certainly has the technical expertise to make sure unsuitable videos for kids are screened or filtered out, especially when Google markets the app as being suitable for children. Indeed, Section 5 of the FTC Act prohibits deceptive marketing practices. I applaud Google for its efforts to create healthy online experiences for children. But in this case, their efforts fell short, and I would expect Google to change this right away. Furthermore, YouTube Kids should also be sensitive to the fact that younger children often don't understand the difference between advertisements and non-commercial content. So kids' online services that have commercial advertising should make sure that advertising is clearly distinguished from the other content. Google should not take advantage of this well-known vulnerability among children. Video advertisements should be easily and clearly distinguishable from other videos that the kids are watching. Madam President, I shouldn't have to come here and the senator from Utah be so gracious to give me the time. It ought to be common sense that we shouldn't be doing this. But this senator, who is the ranking member of the Senate Commerce Committee, is compelled to come here and speak of this kind of comment. We want companies to create online services and products that allow children safe access to age-appropriate content. And we understand that companies want to tap into the kids' market. But everyone knows just how much internet content is out there that is completely unsuitable for children. Madam President, need I say any more? It's very clear. And I hope there will be quick action for appropriate content. Madam President, I yield the floor.